Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about suffering and actually minimizing your own suffering. In the recent period, I've given multiple workshops on suffering, and one of the things we talked about in the workshop is how you can reduce your suffering. And today I want to talk about one of the most powerful ideas and methods to do this. I want to start by asking you to take a moment to ask yourself the question, what am I suffering for right now? And to me, suffering is not something super serious or not something super heavy, let me put it that way. So it doesn't have to be something traumatic, but just ask yourself, what is giving me negative vibes, negative energy right now? I'll give you a few seconds to do this. Okay. Chances are you came up with something that has to do with you, with your well-being, with your happiness, with your life situation, and that makes total sense. You don't have to be ashamed of that. I think a lot of people actually have that. I have that a lot of the time at least. And what I want to do now is show you a quote from the Dalai Lama. Too much self-centered thinking is the source of suffering. A compassionate concern for others' well-being is the source of happiness. Now think about that for a moment. To me, that is such a powerful concept and also so well put, elegantly put, that indeed when you are suffering, when you feel this pressure in your chest or this knot in your belly, most of the time it's about something that has to do with you, with your own shit. And then if you would focus on someone else's well-being, you almost, are able to forget about that knot in your stomach or the pressure on your chest or whatever other way you are suffering. And the Dalai Lama goes even further. He created a concept, it's called wise selfishness, and I want to show you another quote by him that explains this. Foolish selfishness means you just think of yourself, don't care about others, bully others, exploit others. In fact, taking care of others, helping others, ultimately is the way to discover your own joy and to have a happy life. So that is what I call wise selfishness. And actually, I interviewed someone recently, Hans Riezebeek. He's a very good friend and mentor for me. He used to be an entrepreneur himself, and now he's an investor, and he does many other things. And he actually uses this concept of wise selfishness on a daily basis, and I just want to show you this clip.
I am not in this world for myself, I am in this world for other people. So that is how I get up every day. Yeah, I'm not here for myself, I am here to it sounds very corny, but I'm here to try to help make the world, or in this case maybe Amsterdam, or maybe the apartment we're sitting in right now, a little bit of a better place. I get the most satisfaction out of that. That's why I find it so inspiring to help young entrepreneurs. It's maybe even a little egotistical because it makes me it makes me feel good about myself, but okay, maybe I'm allowed to then, under these circumstances. And it helps you with your confidence. It really does, because if you are able to say, wow, I talked to this entrepreneur today and he was going to take a left in his business plan, and I told him, no, take a right in your business plan, and he listened and he took a right, and look at the result, it's better.
So if you want to feel better, don't think about improving your own situation, but think about improving the situation of the people around you. And I think this is such a counterintuitive thought, but something that is so true. At least for me, myself, I've been feeling not so good for the past couple of days, and then I was able to break it by baking cookies for a meeting that I just have to go in. So we're getting together with a few other people who work in well-being, in the well-being sector, and I baked cookies for this meeting. And during that baking process, I started to feel better, which to me is quite crazy but true. And a lot of times when I explain this, when I explain this concept to people, they tell me, okay, because I've been self-centered for the majority of my life. I've been thinking about myself. So how do I help others? How do I make this shift? And that sounds like a very cynical question, but I think it's a very legit question that I at least recognize myself in, that you really want to help others, but then you just don't know how. And what really helped me to find this out is rituals. So in the Confucian sense, I always have difficulty pronouncing his name, but Confucius, the great Chinese philosopher, in his teachings he placed a large emphasis on rituals. And what rituals means to him is, for a short moment, creating an alternate reality. And then when the ritual is over, so when the alternate reality is over or broken or whatever, and you come back to, well, the normal world, let me put it that way, then you'll be changed as a person because you performed the ritual. Now that sounds maybe a bit complex or weird or theoretical, so let me give you a very practical example. Especially that's relevant, especially in this time. So I think a lot of us are working at home at this moment, and most people, when they are working at home, they're very focused on their computer screen, and then when the person that they live with comes home, their roommate, their wife, their husband, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, whatever, your natural inclination is to not even look up from your computer screen, because you just want to finish what you started and you want to be productive, etc. But the nice thing to do is, to me, quite obvious. It is to greet the person at the door and ask how their day was and whatever, right? So, and if you live in a small apartment like me, you don't even need to walk. You can just close your laptop and look at the other person and show interest. And what you will probably see when you do this, when you go against this natural inclination and perform this ritual, is that the person will respond very nicely and it will just be a very positive experience. And then you have created a new ritual which you can perform for, well, the rest of your life, basically, right? And the power of rituals for me in this is that you get to discover how you can help others, and that you can break from your natural inclination and therefore learn how you can help others in a good way. And when I explain this to people, what I hear a lot is, okay, Cas, but I want to be authentic. And if I go against my natural inclination, then it's just forced and not authentic, and I don't want to do that. And I think that's a fair point. What the Chinese would say is that there is no such thing as your true self, because you are constantly changing as a person. Every experience that you have will change you. After you've watched this video, you'll be a different person. And it doesn't mean that my video is so good, it just means that you are constantly changing, right? So they say, why should you answer to this true self that you are in this current moment, instead of opening up a world of possibilities for yourself? And I have to say that I agree with the Chinese on this one. It's because this has been so beneficial for me to force myself to go against the natural inclination and to help others. What the Dalai Lama says to me is really true, that helping others is the source of happiness. And if that means that you have to go outside of your usual patterns to do that, then that's completely fine and worth it.